So, this mock draft that was posted by Lance Zerline here was honestly such a crazy slash. Bro, Cincinnati could get the biggest, fattest W if they followed this mock draft, but not exactly. So, how this mock draft works, by the way, is they have obviously Bryce Young going number 1. Number 2 here, they have the Texans not going quarterback, going with an edge rusher, which we're not going to talk about the idiocy, the specialness of this mock draft. They have the Ravens trading Lamar Jackson to the Colts and getting CJ Stroud. I don't care about that, okay? So, what they have in this draft, right? They have Michael Mayer going to the Lions, and they have the Packers taking Dalton Kincaid, right? So that means you're going down the list now. The next tight end on the board, and on my board, obviously I'm not a football team, but my next tight end on the board has to be Darnell Washington. That's who I would have after those two guys. Well, to other people, there's some other players. Sam Laporta is a name we've talked about many times. But this mock draft has the Bengals taking Luke Musgrave. Now, Musgrave, as it says right here, is an above-average run blocker as a college prospect, has tons of upsides as a pass catcher. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow has a history dating back to time at LSU of using tight ends to exploit opposing defenses. Now, I really am not going to sit here and argue why I don't think this is the best pick of all time, right? And if we go ahead and pull up his Pro Football Focus profile, just gotta take a look at him. Let me go ahead and pull him up here. Tight ends. I'll bring this over for you guys. Here is where Luke Musgrave is. He is right after Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta obviously right now being a second-round draft pick. So, I just feel like if I'm taking Luke, I'm probably taking him in the second round. I feel like it's kind of a reach to take him at the 28th overall pick. It is what it is. He's a first or second round pick, so he definitely has some upside to him. He's 6'6", so kind of in that ballpark range of really tall guy, kind of like Darnell Washington, what we like. 253 height. He's pretty much a very equivalent to Darnell Washington, but a lot worse of a blocker and better of a catcher, I would say. His size and speed is where he wins. He's a vertical threat, and he's a route runner. Needs to work on his route running. So overall, he's more of a polished, receiver than he is a run-blocking tight end. Which, again, that's why I like Darnell Washington, because Darnell Washington is that tight end slash, receiver. Whatever. I'm sorry, he's that tight end slash run blocker slash right tackle. Here's where it kills me in this draft, okay? Because I don't really think this is a good pick, a 28th overall pick. I think you reach for him there. I think you take somebody else. Here's what's interesting, right? Why are the Vikings number 27, you might ask? Hey, the Vikings aren't 27. That's the Buffalo Bills. Well, in this draft, they have the Vikings and the Bills switching spots. The Bills trade up to take Bijan Robinson. If the Cincinnati Bengals let this happen, I would be so ticked off. Because first off, right? Minnesota. Now, most likely Minnesota is going to want something defense. They're going to trade. They're going to draft defensive players. They need to work on their defense. That's their biggest vulnerability. But if you can package, right, maybe a Joe Mixon, maybe a Jonah Williams, couple picks, send them over to Minnesota, do something. If Bijan's still on the board at pick 23, again, we've talked about before, possibly, the Bengals trading up with Jacksonville to get pick 24. If he's still on the board at pick 23, I'm more disappointed since he didn't trade up here to try to get Bijan Robinson, overtaking Luke Musgrave here. Again, Luke Musgrave, not the worst pick of all time, but me personally, if he's still on the board, I'm actually kind of going with how I feel Buffalo should do. I'm kind of Buffalo situation here where I know Cincinnati, listen, Cincinnati normally doesn't trade up for anything, right? They don't trade up to get picks. They kind of stick it and pick it. Bijan Robinson is that next level guy, though. And if he's starting to drop in this draft where he's not going to the Eagles at 10, now he's still on the board at, pick 23, I'm just saying it is not the craziest thing in the world for Cincinnati to say, well, we'll take him at pick 20. We'll trade up and take him at pick 23. Because if you're talking about a splash player, a player that's going to change around your whole entire offense, a player that's going to really just explode for you, he's the guy. And I know I saw a lot of people comment in my video saying, Cincinnati simply they're not good at drafting tackles. They're not good at drafting linemen early. Jonah Williams was obviously more or less a bust at the end of the day, so they're not good at it. Well, what do you want more than anything? A splash player. Whether that's cornerback position, tight end position, running back position, you name it. Bijan Robinson is that guy. So, while this mock draft as a whole I think is kind of loopy, if this scenario did happen where, you have Michael Mayer off the board and you have Kincaid off the board, if he's on the board, man, and I'm like, let's say we'll pass the Ravens pick, right? If Bijan Robinson's on the board and I'm Cincinnati, I am calling up every single team above the Cowboys here and saying, listen, what's your asking price? Now, the good thing is they could trade Jonah Williams a couple picks to the Giants. They're a possible candidate. Jacksonville's a candidate they could trade, Jonah Williams to, possibly. And the good thing is, a lot of these guys, these teams like Joey Porter, if they trade, let's say, for example, Bengals trade up to pick 24, Joey Porter is probably still available at pick 28. Same thing with, Brian Branch here. Probably, bro, I would say, yeah. You do risk it once you get closer to the end of the draft that a team trades back into the first round to try to get one of these guys. But, again, most likely some of these guys still available. I'm just saying, bro, like, I really have not been talking about Cincinnati trading up in any of my mock drafts, any of my videos. I've only talked about it because I don't really see the reason to do it. Unless Bijan is still available and you're getting closer and closer to 28th overall pick, pull the trigger and go get him. Now, if he's not available, I'm not saying to trade up to get Michael Mayer or Kincaid. I think those guys are amazing. I love those guys. I think Bijan is just that little bit extra oomph on top. So, again, like I said, it depends. And especially because, again, like I said before, it's not really also, like, you're trading up, right? But the reason why I like the trade up factor is that you have a player you want to get rid of anyway. You're trying to get rid of Jonah Williams. You're trying to save that $12.6 million cap and get some value for him. Trading him up with a couple picks, you get a better player in return, right? And you get rid of Jonah. You move on from him. So it's like a win-win and all at the end of the day. And who knows? Again, like I said, draft day is crazy, guys. Draft day is absolutely insane. It's possible they trade up and Joe Mixon's name comes up on the trade up. If Bijan Robinson is who they're trading up for, Joe Mixon might be the guy they end up getting rid of too. Jonah and Mixon are possible trade candidates on draft day. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.